If you take a look at new homes, retrofits and renovations across Australia, they're designed a particular way so that they meet the building codes, provide a minimum level of energy efficiency, which can vary between states and territories, offer a comfortable, safe living environment, perform properly without costing the earth, and look good to the client. However, some of these homes and renovations were designed to achieve these goals, but never actually built that way. This can be for a variety of reasons, including the on-site changing of one material or product for another because something isn't available, because something is too expensive, or because somebody's trying to cut corners and save time. A lack of understanding around the designs, the way separate elements might work together, or the difference between one product and another. A lack of understanding around how to install or build something, or even how to commission a system so it operates at its highest efficiency. No proper communication or training being provided before or during the project, or an attempt to create a better outcome than the one shown. Some changes might seem to be tiny ones that won't make much difference. They can lead to a whole world of problems on the job and for the lifetime of the home itself, and a much less energy efficient home. Some of the most commonly found issues within new homes and renovations that can have a negative impact on the comfort, safety and energy efficiency of the home include insulation not being installed at all or installed incorrectly, with gaps in the insulation or with the insulation materials bulked up in one area, or with contact between insulation material and moisture. Materials substituted, for example where one wall panel or glazing system is specified but another is actually installed. Gaps around windows and doors that aren't sealed. These might seem small, but they can make a massive difference on comfort and energy efficiency in times of hot or cold weather. Lights, appliances, thermostats, gauges and electrical installations that are specified and positioned in the plans, but then the same kind of thing gets put in close enough, but just isn't the same, as the owners find out later. And thermal bridges being formed through materials being used that have higher thermal conductivity than surrounding materials, penetrations of the thermal envelope, and discontinuities or gaps in the insulation materials. Thermal bridging in buildings reduces energy efficiency and can lead to moisture and thermal comfort problems, so must be avoided. Fans and pumps, mechanical ventilation or air conditioning units being fitted or sized incorrectly, wasting energy and struggling to work properly, or simply not doing the job they're meant to do. Many of these elements contribute to the building certification, such as Basics in New South Wales. If the elements are incorrectly installed, then the building does not comply and may even be illegal. So that's one of the many reasons it's important to get good information to all trades, and particularly to apprentices and trainees who are just starting out in the industry and who may be unfamiliar with the reasons behind certain actions.
6 years ago, when we were looking to renovate our home, we went with a reputable building designer whose vision and ideas were similar to ours, and we got the design we wanted at a price we thought was really reasonable. But in the renovation process, we found there was almost no communication between the three of us, the designer, the builder and us, and decisions were made without consultation, and the wrong products are going into the building, and there were even changes to the design that we didn't know about until everything was finished. It wasn't the builder's fault so much, there's just a lack of clarity around the decision-making process. In hindsight, if a better communication process was established from the start, involving everyone, much of the tension and conflict and so on could have been avoided, I suspect. We would have achieved exactly what we wanted, a comfortable, livable, energy-efficient renovation. Instead we got a home that was just too hot in summer, it was too cold in winter, it cost us $100 more a month than we were expecting. How would you like to end up with a home that wasn't actually what you wanted, designed or even paid for?
I think the Basics system that the New South Wales government has got going is really good, because mostly it's new buildings that project home builders are building, which are the hardest to actually make work with the Basics system. And so it's the most rewarding for the community at large for that system to be in place.
I think that we actually need to be more energy efficient in our homes, because I think that we individually can actually do a lot more ourselves to try and reduce our own footprint on the planet.
The actions you take on site can have a really big impact, not just when you're doing the job. There could be impact when you're training apprentices, when you might not be able to get a certificate of occupancy, or when the owner might have the home independently tested through blower door testing, energy or thermal audits. In other words, there could be impacts on the lifetime of the building. This can affect you through not being able to finish the job or even getting involved in legal cases, the costs involved in rectification work and making good old jobs, getting bad references or a bad reputation, losing staff through loss of job satisfaction, improper training or corners being cut. And it can impact on homeowners by reduced energy efficiency, lower building performance, damage and building failures, health and well-being issues, health and safety issues, reduced value on the market when they come to sell the house, lower levels of comfort, and work that must be repaired. Can't underestimate the stress and anxiety and general frustration that can result from such things as this. Whereas, if you carry out the work according to the designs, there are numerous positive benefits, including a good reputation, the chance to educate your staff, more knowledge on performance, improved energy efficiency skills, your workforce staying longer in roles, being able to do the job once, not twice, getting paid on time without issues because everyone's happy, and generally saving money in the long run. Also getting a stream of further jobs because everyone's happy. As an architect, I want to work with builders, subcontractors and apprentices who will work collaboratively with me to understand what I've designed and who will deliver that without cutting corners or making changes, unless we have a really good discussion around it. And then I'll want to work with them again and again on multiple jobs.
This year we've moved into our new home. We had it built just nearby and we're thrilled. We worked with our architect to get a builder and subcontractors who understood what we were trying to achieve and who had some experience of working on more sustainable projects as well, and who understood that we wanted to communicate about any issues as they arose. When products and materials weren't available or when we hit an issue like we did with the doors, we felt involved in the decisions being made, and the builders and our architect reached solutions that were in line with regulations, with the sustainability goals and our designs. And our new place is bigger than the old one, but the first energy bill we received was nearly half the energy bill from the same time of year in our old home. And it definitely feels cooler and more comfortable in summer. We've recommended the builder and the architect to all of our friends.
At Verticon, we're a simple bunch. Simple but passionate about standing up and making a difference and doing what's right in our jobs. That's why we've chosen to adopt a responsible building methodology to all of our projects. In our opinion, it's no longer sustainable for companies to just use money as their true measure of success. We've chosen to integrate the word responsible into our business plan, which will govern the way we run all aspects of our business, from office to on-site. How do we do this? By making deliberate choices about everything from FSC timbers to low VOC paints, solvents and glues, and from being proactive with waste separation on site to integrating grey water systems where applicable. Now we're looking at solar panels with battery backup where possible and investing time into each project's pre-construction phase using the latest technology, which leads to smarter ordering, less waste, reduced delivery fees, fewer emissions into the atmosphere and better energy efficiency. Above all, we work with the clients, the architects and other trades to make sure that what's been designed actually gets built. That way we can be sure of the quality and performance of the end product, and we can teach our apprentices the value of getting it right the first time. We try to achieve the highest possible energy efficiency for each home we work on. So we want to work with contractors that understand the importance of actually building what was designed and who take the time to understand and install what was specified in the designs. There's some things that are really important to us that go into any project of ours, and one of the big ones of that is communication. We obviously want to make sure that everyone between the client, the architect and us as the builder are all talking the same language before we go into the project. One of the big ones of that is obviously a pre-construction meeting, and that's internally and also with the client and the architect. We want to make sure that we get the chance to talk through some new materials, how we're going to install certain things, make sure that we are actually on the same page with how that's going to go together and everyone's happy with the timeline of that. And one of the big things for us is obviously our cloud-based software. So we're carrying the same software all the way through from quoting, through to project management and procurement, and then all the way through to invoicing. So at the end of the day, we know that we can track the project down to the last dollar. The client's happy, we're happy, and we know we've created a really energy efficient home that everyone's really, really happy with.
Usually people always think short term, so people do think about materials, but I don't think when it comes to cost and when they're trying to build a house or buy a house, it's in the back burner somewhere.
And sustainability being important, the issue that we're talking about at the moment, is chasing back that supply chain. So some of the questions that I'd ask my suppliers would be to do with the technical capabilities of their product and the longevity of their product, and a lot to do with the supply chain of where their product was produced and how it was produced and what materials go into the making up of their product.
At Mirvac, we are also focused on the quality of the product that we are delivering for our customers, their homes. It's important to us that we achieve our vision of having a positive impact by generating more water and energy and finding ways to capture and reduce waste. That means we want to work with people who understand about that lasting impact and about how the quality of our products flows from the design to construction to whole of life performance. Our vision also looks at the lowering of long-term costs, ease of adaptation to new technologies, increased occupant comfort and productivity, and all the systems, technology and tools to achieve this. So Mirvac can develop affordable master plan communities in the future. We've started developing the first House with No Bills in Melbourne. The House with No Bills is an innovative initiative forming part of Mirvac's sustainability strategy that aims to drive a more sustainable future for Australians, and which focuses on not only reducing environmental impact, but the social impacts of what we build. As part of this vision, Mirvac is building a home at our $130 million Jack Road development in Cheltenham, Victoria, to demonstrate the first phase of the project, which is to deliver a home without energy or gas bills. The home will look, feel and operate the same as a typical home, but it has been designed to reduce its reliance on electricity to the point it will not generate any electricity bills, with methods including increased roof insulation and the installation of solar PV panels and batteries, the use of LED lighting, energy efficient appliances and smart metering and monitoring for systems which will assist homeowners in keeping an accurate record of where and how their energy is being used. The first House with No Bills will be home to a key worker family of 4 over a 12-month period, and Mirvac will use a long-range study to follow energy use within the home to uncover how average families consume energy and how the house design and associated sustainable technology performs. By gathering data on the trial family's everyday energy consumption, it will shed light on how to best roll out this home model on a wider scale. We examine all of our designs closely to ensure a great product for our customers and to reduce environmental impacts during the whole lifetime of the building. It's really important to Mirvac that any substitutions that are made deliver the same quality to our customers and do not shift environmental impacts from one area to the other. Projects where we use prefabricated building panels or the House with No Bills show the level of thinking and of care that goes into making sure that the design and construction of each project will result in comfortable, energy efficient homes.
There are a lot of things that you can do to ensure that what is designed actually gets built. Some of them are small things, some of them are bigger. You can make an effort to understand the designs, and if there's something you don't understand or something that may end up being a problem, ask. Talk with your colleagues and team members about the importance of not substituting materials, products or design elements. If something has been specified, it's there for a reason. Try to remember that most elements of a home are connected in ways you may not be able to see. An extra few centimetres of insulation might be the difference between comfortable and unbearable on a scorching day because the ventilation system can no longer cope. Or changing one type of fitting for another because you happen to have some left over from another job and it's way cheaper. That may mean that another design element might not work at all further down the track. Saving a few dollars up front by changing one product for another, or just forgetting to install something that may never be seen, might cost you thousands of dollars down the track when your boss or your client or the independent checker finds out what you've done and insists it's installed or made good. Make sure there's a system of checks and balances or ways of double checking quality around the site. So if you see someone else making changes or not installing something as designed, there's a safe and friendly way of calling them out on it. After all, better you do something properly the first time than get a call back to a job again and again, losing money, hours and reputation each time you do. Get a great reputation with designers, architects, main contractors and homeowners for building homes that are comfortable, energy efficient and look good and perform as designed. I've worked on designing passive house projects, ones that follow the rigorous voluntary standard for energy efficiency in building, reducing ecological footprint, resulting in ultra-low energy buildings that require little energy or for space heating and cooling. Tradespeople have been incredibly proud and extremely competitive in what they've achieved in these projects. There's a place in the market for good builders to be able to deliver to the specifications, timeline and budget. Establish lines of communication with the designer to ensure the design intent. Briefing for materials and systems, regular meetings on site or in the office to review any changed circumstances. Good communication doesn't just involve the architect, the client and the builder. It should include the procurement and purchasing people as well. Often they have information that others don't and can make suggestions around cost, availability, performance that might actually help improve the project in the short term and the long run.
I think some of the biggest barriers to energy efficiency use in the home is actually our own personal knowledge. A lot of us actually aren't aware of some of the activities or some of the practices that we do in the house.
I love my house. So 40 square meter house is my current house, but the planet is my another house. From the passive design thing, I have learned to, I learned that you can use energy without using a lot of auxiliary power, using naturally. So I'm very much interested that, well, if I can use energy efficiently, naturally, that helpful for the environment, also helpful for our budget. Energy price is going up, so it saves our money as well.
I'm both a qualified builder and an architect. This rare combination means I can communicate concepts and requirements to tradespeople and building issues to architects. And we do employ people who want to learn to do the same thing. So whether you're creating a boutique residence, residential development or commercial construction, it's important to speak the client's language as well. I won't employ people who are going to shortchange the client or make substitutions on site. It's not worth it to my business or to the job. I've always encouraged my staff to ask me questions about why a home's designed a certain way. Then they can see the importance of building it that way too. At Steel Associates, we want to ensure that the projects we develop don't just meet minimum standards in the short term, but go beyond, delivering high quality, energy efficient, comfortable, cost efficient, sustainable, affordable and reliable homes in the long term. And so we want to work with companies and people who know how to deliver those. Probably the most common on-site problem is ceiling insulation, which is strung up between joists, and then often the plumber and electrician have to get in there to put up pipes and cables. Gyprocker might need to move a bat to put in a track, and then by the time everyone else is finished fiddling around in there, it looks like the insulation looks like an old moth-eaten blanket. And just like a moth-eaten blanket isn't going to keep you warm in winter, that insulation with all those gaps in it isn't going to do a good job of keeping the house warm and cool when it's meant to. So the problem is that the guys on site are thinking about the job they have to get in and get out and do quickly, but if you haven't got someone also thinking about what this house is going to be to live in for 50 years, then you've got a real problem. To get the right result, good clear documentation is important, communication is important, and an old-fashioned checklist is a really powerful tool. And have someone else come through and do a final inspection just to make sure nothing is missed. That makes all the difference.
During the writing of contracts and specifications early on in the process, the removal of phrases like or equivalent and or similar makes for a precise detailing and gives a client certainty that they're getting what is specified. Building in more site visits as part of the contract will allow a closer examination and management of off-plan changes and help give more time for communication. At site inductions, staff and all workers need to be given the responsibility and authority to call out contractors they think may be using or installing substandard or substituted materials and building elements, and bringing it to the attention of the foreman or site manager if necessary. Project managers, construction managers and site managers must make sure design changes are signed off by the owners or architects or building designers before the changes can be implemented. If a builder asks me about a particular design, material or product, I'll always take the time to explain what I've designed and why it's relevant. A small change can have a massive impact, and I know the builders I'd never use again and the ones I'll come back to every time. The good ones have found that actually building what was designed results in energy efficient homes, more work and a great reputation. The way I choose builders is I look for builders who are really interested in understanding the whole sustainability agenda, from energy efficiency, material selection, detailing, etc. and are really willing to work with us to understand what we're trying to achieve and how to achieve it in the most efficient and best way. Well, recently, over the last couple of years, we have been trying to bring the builders in as early as possible, because I have a really healthy respect for their experience and expertise, and know that the sooner that is brought in, the sooner we can influence the design with that experience, rather than coming in really late and then it's costly and difficult for that experience to be incorporated. So we try to bring them in early and work with them as part of a team that is delivering the outcome for the client.
I didn't have any knowledge 1 or 2 years ago. I thought if I have to have a heater or cool the house, I have to have a strong air conditioned. But now I know without air condition, you can have a comfortable home. So people simply, they don't know. So the people, especially people around us, with my friends, they have no idea.
I think that Australia tends to be a little bit behind when it comes to sustainability and more energy efficient practice. So I would like to see us sort of catch up on the game.
You can find out more about these issues in a number of different ways, including online, watching videos, reading case studies, finding out what other companies in your area are doing, and seeing what grants are available for further learning. Face-to-face at courses and events, informal training and get-togethers, through toolbox talks that you can do as a team, perhaps discussing the topics raised in the fact sheet that accompanies this resource.
There's a wealth of free information and further courses available for you and your colleagues, friends and suppliers, including the Supply Chain Sustainability School's range of free online materials. The three most relevant school resources would be the Sustainable Construction e-learning module, the Energy and Carbon e-learning module, and the up-to-date business case studies from around Australia. TAFE New South Wales courses, electives and training that can build on what you already know and make you the most employable person in the state. The three most relevant TAFE New South Wales resources would be the Diploma for Building Design, the Cert 4 in Environmental Management and Sustainability, and the Cert 4 in Building and Construction. Green Building Council of Australia resources, including the Green Star Rating Tools and Green Star Living, the New South Wales Office of Environment and Heritage resources, including planning and building a new home, renovating your home, and energy use in your home. South Australian Government resources, including planning a new home or renovation, energy efficiency home design, and home energy use. The Your Home Manual, and other state and territory resources, including those from Sustainability Victoria and from Tasmania. So good luck building energy efficiency into your residential project.